barn jacket, the machete, the hockey mask, the muscular build. He was just, a walking... Why, hello there YouTube, and welcome back to 31 The Free Slashers. I am Random Ross, and today is day 26. Yes, day 26, and for this one I am reviewing, yes, the Clash of the Slasher Titans, Freddy vs Jason. Yes, and I saved this shirt for this very episode. Early in this one, they're resolving their differences with a game of pool. So, this is the 11th installment of the Friday the 13th franchise, and the 9th installment, is it the 9th? No, the 8th installment of the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. Written by Damian Shannon and Mark Swift, produced by Sean S. Cunningham. Yeah, he returned to produce this one. Directed by Ronnie Yu. Starring Monica Keena, Kelly Rowland, Jason Ritter, Chris Marquetta, whatever it says, Rocklin Monroe, and Katherine Isabelle, with Ken Kirzinger as Jason Voorhees, and the legendary Robert Englund as Freddy Kruger. So this is a crossover movie that was 10 years in the making, and after the whole ending of Jason Goes to Hell the Final Friday, where a familiar looking arm with a bladed glove drags Jason's hockey mask into hell, fans were dying to see the ultimate crossover between the two horror titans. And did we get it? Yes, we did. 10 years of in development hell, but they actually managed to do this. So, Jason and Freddy. So Freddy summons Jason from hell so he can sends Freddy takes the shape of his mother Pamela Voorhees, not played by Betsy Palmer, but she plays his mother Pamela, and she basically awakens. He uses her form to awaken Jason and sends him to Springwood on Elm Street to strike fear into the local kids so that he can get stronger and so that they'll remember him. And yeah, but of course after he sends Jason to do that, Jason starts to have a bit too much fun and starts taking all the glory and all the spotlight. So then Freddy then has to then take up Jason and fight him. At first in his world, but then when Jason is taken back to Crystal Lake, he awakens, and then Freddy is also took back into the real world, and that's where they both fight it out for the and that's where, in a deleted scene, and what we saw in the trailer of this film, where our main protagonist, Laurie, played by Monica Keena, says, "Freddy vs Jason, place your bets." But of course, that was just in the trailer and was a deleted scene. There's also an alternate ending to this where we see Freddy live and he wins, but that ending's still on the DVD features, but they went with an ending where at the end, after Freddy and Jason have fought each other, when we feel like Freddy's won, Jason jumps out, uses his bladed glove, because he rips his arm off and rams it through Freddy. And then, of course, Laurie gets the machete and goes, "Hey Freddy, welcome to my world," and cuts off his head. But then the film ends at Crystal Lake, where Jason rises out of the lake, holding Freddy's head, and Freddy's head just winks at the camera. As it cuts to black, we hear his cackle. And of course, I wasn't really old enough to see that film, Freddy vs Jason, but according to people who were there, who've seen it in cinemas, said when they saw the ending, Jason rising out of the lake, all the Jason people are going, "Yeah, yeah," but then they see Freddy's head, and I think it's safe to say that it was a draw. They thought, let's play it safe, let's not piss off either fan base, let's call it a tie, and everyone's equal. Which I thought, yeah, fair fight. There was also an ending to this which never saw the light of day, but it existed on paper, where they both meet in hell, and then they're interrupted by Pinhead, setting things in motion for a sequel. But of course, they couldn't acquire the rights to Pinhead, New Line couldn't, and they couldn't, and Doug Bradley wasn't available to do that, so yeah, they scrapped that. They did, however, do a follow-up to this in comic form, Freddy vs Jason vs Ash, where Ash Williams from The Evil Dead fights Freddy and Jason. But anyway, back to Freddy vs Jason. Okay, let's get onto my likes and dislikes about this one. First of all, the likes. I liked this one. It was my introduction to both franchises. The first one I watched, and I actually enjoyed it. I was about 13, 14 when I saw this, and I wasn't scared one bit. I just enjoyed it. It was a blast for me. I love the kills Jason does. Jason, like that whole kill around the beginning where that guy's on the bed, Jason just stabs him and then folds him up. I thought that was a creative kill, and I like that kill. After Jason stabs him to death with the machete, he puts his machete down and folds him in half. There's also another scene in there where some drunk guys at a party in a cornfield set Jason on fire, and he's high. What the fat one's high and doesn't realise Jason just twisted his mate's head around, and he goes, "Oh yes, burn, motherfucker!" But of course, Jason soon, harpoons the machete into the guy's chest whilst it's on fire, and Jason just goes on a real good rampage around Springwood, and of course that pisses Freddy off because he's taking all the glory. I like Jason in this. I mean, yes, the role should have been Kane Hodder. Kane Hodder should have come back to play Jason, because this was one of Kane Hodder's goals, and he never got to do it, which I thought was a shame. I mean, Ken Kirzinger did a good enough job, but I feel Kane should have been in there as Jason. I liked Jason's this. I like the look of Jason as well. The barn jacket, the machete, the hockey mask, the muscular build. He was just, a walking, Terminator machine. I also liked Robert Englund. Now, Robert Englund. This man, as always, stole the show with his comedic performance as Freddy. Freddy was just wacky and witty in this, and evil. And when he got Jason into the dream world, he knocked him around. And even the final fight, we'll get to that a little bit later on. But yeah, I just love Robert Englund this. Robert Englund's Freddy Krueger, didn't do much killing in this. He did kill a few people in it, but like I say, Jason was taking all the glory, and Freddy needed fear to get strong again. But of course, he got more than what he bargained for when Jason just started to kick ass. And of course, I love the big final fight scene between the two. You know, Laurie wakes up, not Laurie Strode, a different Laurie. She wakes up, takes Freddy out of the dream world and into the real world, and then they both face off against each other. And the fight is just brutal and insane. And at the same time, it's like a Tom and Jerry episode. Robert Englund even said this in a DVD Extra or interview, that the final fight was like, you know, cat and mouse. But still, I loved the final fight between the two. It's what it was all building up to throughout the film. I also like that they got a few familiar faces in this. They got Katherine Isabelle, who is a screen queen known for her many roles, such as Ginger Snaps and, of course, this movie. We also got Kelly Rowland, who at the time was probably known for being in Destiny's Child. We got a couple of other people in there, and yeah, it was good to see, like, you know, some familiar faces in there. I feel like this felt like a Nightmare on Elm Street film with Jason in it, which it was. But when they got to Crystal Lake, it then became like a Friday the 13th film with Freddy in it. You know, it's like it's like setting both Springwood and Crystal Lake, and yeah, I love that. I also like the opening scene. The opening scene was the opening scene was very cliche. A girl goes skinny dipping in the lake, and then Jason kills her. But that's when Freddy comes in and summons Jason. We also see a quick backstory of Freddy. Not much of Jason, because Paramount owned the rights or whatever. But still, we got to see a scene where Jason is drowning, and then in a nightmare sequence for Paula Jason. Yeah, and I don't like that. I'm thinking, okay, so Jason's not scared of water, but in his dreams he's scared of water. I'm thinking, how's Jason dreaming? He's never dreamed before. Mind you, we've never really seen him sleep, have we? Well, we kind of have, like, where he's at the bottom of the lake but wakes up. Yeah, we've just never seen him dream, that's it. But yeah, I thought this film was great. It could have been done a little better, which we're going to get to now in the dislikes. First of all, but I thought that, as I said, the role should have been Kane's. Kane Hodder should have returned for it, but didn't. They could have got a director who had better knowledge of the characters. Now, this was directed by Ronnie Yu, who directed the Child's Play sequel, The Bride of Chucky, and he had never seen a Child's Play film. I mean, that was okay, but you know, Ronnie Yu, the only research he did of this was he watched the first Friday the 13th film and the first Nightmare on Elm Street film. That's all he did. So he did. You know, they could have got a director with better knowledge of the characters. At least we got Sean S. Cunningham for producer, but yeah, they could have got a bit more of a better director. The effects in this film were good, but looking at them now, some of the effects haven't aged well. Like when Freddy's a stoner, when one of the guys is getting stoned and Freddy turns into like some worm-like creature. You know, I thought that bit was insane, but it was a funny moment, I guess. Still, this had the chant in it, that 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. You know, this just had nods and references to both franchises, and you know, I mean, I wasn't familiar with the franchises until I saw this film, so for the fans of both franchises, I'm assuming that this must have been a wait that was worth waiting for, and that their patience were greatly rewarded. I wouldn't know, because this was the first film, like I said, I watched from both series, and, you know, I mean, now I'm a fully fledged horror fan. I love horror to death, and I love this film too. It is a guilty pleasure of mine. You know, there's moments in it that are so bad it's good, but still, I find it's an enjoyable film, and you know, this was Robert Englund's last ever performance as Freddy Kruger, and I think he did good in this. So did Ken Kirzinger as Jason, and like I said, Ken Kirzinger was in a brief scene in part 8 where Jason throws a waiter guy into a mirror in the diner. That was Ken Kirzinger. So Kane Hodder through his who would one day become his successor as Jason into the mirror. Okay, so final thoughts and ratings. Freddy vs Jason was a good crossover. I thought it was cheesy in a lot of bits, tacky in others, but all in all, it was a good crossover. Good clash of the should I say, of the Titans. So, this was also the last installment of the original Friday and Nightmare franchises, and before we got to the remakes. In fact, that's what we're getting to next. From tomorrow, we'll be reviewing Halloween 2007, so we'll be getting into the remakes of these franchises from tomorrow. Okay, so my ratings. I'm going to give Freddy vs. Jason... for me, in this film, I was Team Jason all over, because I'm Team Jason, I'm going to rate this by machetes. So, Freddy vs. Jason, I'm going to give it... do you know what? I'm giving it 3.5 machetes out of 5. If I was on Team Freddy, I would have given it... In fact, do you know what? The hell with it. For you Freddy fans, I'm giving this 3.5 bladed gloves out of 5. But for the Friday fans like myself, I'm giving this 3.5 machetes out of 5. So that is my rating for Freddy vs. Jason. So, let me know down in the comments below. What do you think to this one? Do you like it? Do you love it? Do you not? Let me know. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And hit the notification bell to stay notified. All my social media links are down below in the description. You can watch all 25 previous episodes on my channel of 31, the free slashers so far. So yes, that's pretty much it for today. So join me tomorrow where we'll be reviewing the 2007 Rob Zombie remake of Halloween. So, until tomorrow, don't have nightmares.